Hello, hello, hello. It says I'm live. Let me just make sure that I am live here. I should be live in a couple of places in United Bosses of America on Zykira Global and YouTube today. I'm gonna be here really quickly just for a hot kick moment. Yes, it says I'm live. Let me make sure y'all can hear me as well. Okay, so you can hear me. All right, so let's get into it. Bosses do not major in minor things. Happy Tuesday. I hope you guys are having a beautiful, beautiful Tuesday. I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina. If you are watching, please state your name. Let us know what city and state you represent or country, because we are global. We are global. And so I'm excited because I definitely wanted to talk about this because I also do one-on-one coaching. And sometimes when I'm talking to my clients, especially recently, they get into this whole thing where they feel like they are not getting the results that they really are looking for. And one of the major reasons is because bosses do not major in minor things. You have to understand and remember that there is only 24 hours in a day. And as much as that seems like a lot, you have to also remember that it's eight of those hours, 6 to 8 of those hours are intended for sleep. Then you have to eat, right? So if you're eating, what, 3 times a day, that's what, two, three, I don't know how fast you eat, but you should not be eating too fast. Okay, for sure. But if you are, okay, and even if you're eating extremely fast and you're eating 3 to 4 times, let's say an hour, that's another 4 hours. So let's calculate 8, right? Even if you just did 6 hours for sleep and 4 hours for food, right? Or 3 hours for food. And that's even if you have to prepare it. That's not even consider if you have to prepare it, right? So that alone is 10 hours. That leaves you with only 14 hours to be productive, to be a boss. And out of those 14 hours, you have to remember that, you have to take some me time. You have to exercise. I always tell my clients you should always be in a place where you're working on something daily that has to do with your mental, physical, spiritual, and whatever respected industry that you're in, you should be working on that too. And then you have to enjoy your day. You have to enjoy the day. And so just remember that you only have 24 hours, okay? And with remembering this will help you to not get caught up in the minor. I mean, minor. I mean, who said this? And she said that. And they said this. Now, granted, sometimes you have to manage, PR work, right? Like, or not public relations, but sometimes you have to, what is the word I'm looking for? Sometimes you have to not get involved in things, but sometimes you have to, sometimes you have to get involved, right? Sometimes. But you want to avoid this. Bosses avoid drama. Bosses avoid anything that's going to take them off track. So I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Esther Hicks. I love Esther Hicks. I watch her religiously. And one of the things that she calls staying in the zone, some people call it staying in the zone, tapping in, plugging in, putting your head down, right? Some people, okay, call this the vortex. That's what Esther Hicks and her crew call it. And there is nothing valuable enough to take you out the vortex. Nothing. And you know what? I really need to have a talk with um what is this thing called? StreamYard, because I'm literally right next to the router and I'm still having the connection issue thing. Anyway, so bosses avoid drama. Just like that, I should have avoided even talking about that just now, right? I shouldn't have let that distract me from my live because, again, bosses avoid drama. And even though that's not really drama, but y'all know what I mean by drama. You know what I mean by drama. Who said what, she said who with who, celebrity stuff. If it's not going to propel you in your business, avoid the drama. Another thing that bosses have to learn to do is to delegate. Okay. And this is something that I have learned to do. And I've realized that I sometimes have a hard time with delegation if I don't feel that the person or the person I'm hiring is going to do a better job than me, because I'm not great at everything, right? But if I put my mind to it, I'll figure it out. Like, my passion is not editing, but I can edit me a good video. I can edit me a good audio, right? But I don't prefer to do it. So, like for example, if you have a big yard in your house, right? Instead of taking that hour and a half to mow the lawn, pay the person next door to mow your lawn. Why? Because your time is so much more valuable than what you might think the $50 or the $40. Because if that $40, $50 allows you 2, 3 more hours of being productive, then it's worth paying that person. Okay. And so bosses delegate, bosses find people to hire, bosses learn the art of asking for help. And of course, bosses pay for help, right? And so you want to understand what you're great at and what you're not great at, because no one's great at everything, right? Some people are really great. What do they call me? A fire starter or something like in that nature, meaning that, like, for example, two of my good friends, Link and Betty, like we're 3 different personalities. Link's had great ideas. I'm an implementer. Betty is the person that's going to cross the I's, dot the T's, right? That's the type of stuff that you have to understand about yourself, and to put yourself around people who are better than you in these different areas, right? And so that's another thing. I don't know who this person is, but thank you for it says Facebook user. I think that if you are watching my lives, it's going to ask you for permission to show your name, but thank you for the comment, Facebook user. So getting back to it, bosses delegate. Also remember, bosses, that when you make assumptions, you make an ass out of yourself. Another part of the day that can take up your time is thoughts of things that have never happened, that you're not sure that happened. And you know what I'm saying? So don't get caught up in making assumptions. Bosses are direct. They ask very direct questions so that we can get on with business for the day. Okay. And so I want to encourage you. Okay. Encourage you. I want to encourage you to make sure that you not make any assumptions, because you totally make an ass out of yourself when you do that. And I got to get out of here. That's what I wanted to come here real quick Tuesday and share with all of you some thoughts that will help you to really take it to the next level when it comes to, not majoring in minor things and really maximizing your time, because time management is so key when you're in business. You have to really take time to not get caught up in the small things of life, because if you do, I promise you, you will waste significant time. You will not be able to get the things that you need to get done if you're majoring in minor things. Minor things is letting things getting you upset, emotionally getting charged about small things. Because the reality is, when you're emotionally charged, you can't focus. Like, when it's time for me to make my sales calls or follow-up calls or outreach calls or whatever type of calls I'm doing, if I'm pissed off, I am not going to make those calls. Because how many of you can tell when someone's smiling, eating, angry, laying down when they're on the phone? Just because someone can't see you doesn't mean they can't feel you. Okay. And so that's another thing that you want to, I feel like this thing is all up in my face. That's another thing that you want to, take full control of, is your emotions, and not majoring in big emotions for small things. Like, of course, bosses are passionate. I'll never forget when I was playing football this past season, there was a game that we were playing, and I promise you, it was one of the worst ref games I've ever played in my life. And I don't normally snap. It takes a lot for me to snap, but this particular game I did snap. And I looked back on it. I wish I didn't. But in that moment when I look back, it was the passion I had. So it wasn't that I was wasting time or those type of things. I could have probably handled it a little differently, but I was pissed, y'all. I mean, on the clock, you only supposed to get 20 seconds or 25 seconds, and these people were getting 38 seconds. I had a right to be angry, damn it. But my point is, getting back to the topic, is that bosses do not major in minor things. Do not major in minor things today. Major in major things. Okay? If it's something that you don't have to do and you can get somebody else to do it, get somebody else to do it. It might, if you have a big house or even if you have a little house, sometimes like what I do is I hire a maid for my stove because I hate cleaning my stove. Okay, I hate it. Absolutely hate it. And so I'm going to get out of here. Shout out to everybody in the United Bosses of America group. We are definitely growing. We just had another 35 people over the last few days join our group. We're looking to get to 2K very soon. And so if you're part of the United Bosses of America group page, I'm going to be coming here regularly to do a live about some kind of business tip that will help you to be the boss that you have always imagined, that you always have thought of yourself of being. And sometimes people just need a little bit of a push to know exactly how to get there. And so I want you guys to also save the date, April 30th. There is a huge event called the Funding Fest 2000. It's a 2022 Funding Fest where major business professionals will be there. We have a special guest, Link Green, the chemist, will be there. He's going to be talking about business credit, NFTs. We have a person to help us with information about business credit because a lot of business owners, like to build their personal credit, which is great, but your business credit is an area that you definitely want to be focused on in 2022. And so I'm going to get out of here. You can get that information at ZakiraGlobal.com. Just click the link for funding the 2022 Funding Fest, not feast. We ain't feeding all y'all. Funding Feast of 2022, Funding Fest, the Funding Fest. Go to ZakiraGlobal.com. And if you found this message to be helpful, all I ask is for you to share. So I'm going to get out of here. Thank you for watching, and love, peace, and hair grease. I got to go to therapy, y'all. My goal is to walk by my birthday, y'all. My birthday is March 5th, okay? But anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Love, peace, and hair grease. Bye. Yeah.